Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Talking Cinema. I haven't done one of these in a long time, so I wanted to do one. Cellular Nation would have replaced this, but I've been having some audio errors. I think I might have fixed it. I think it has to do with Skype and a recent update. I'll keep you updated on whether or not I get that fixed. But until then, I'm bringing back Talking Cinema. There's a bunch of trailers I want to talk about, as well as some movie news and some upcoming Blu-rays, so I'm just going to get started. I'm going to dive right into it. First trailer I want to talk about is Venom. Specifically, the second trailer. There are a few words that immediately come to mind after watching this trailer multiple times, and that's a turd in the wind. Yes, because that is an actual line of dialogue that Venom says in this trailer. And it sums up the trailer perfectly, sums up the idea of this movie perfectly. It's a turd in the wind. It's an insignificant little speck. It's one of those things that it's like, why is this a thing? Initially, I was trying to be in its corner because I like the character of Venom, but the more I think about it, this is just doomed to fail. You can't have a Venom film without Peter Parker. You can't have a Venom film without Spider-Man. It doesn't work. I mean, look at Venom. He's missing his iconic spider emblem on his chest because you can't have Spider-Man in the movie. So this is Venom in name only. Eddie Brock, there's not the same connection or the same intrigue. The character is no longer as interesting because you take away the dynamic that he has with Peter Parker. So now you have this random guy named Eddie Brock who I guess encounters a symbiote and then becomes one with it, and now he's a vigilante. Like, that's all you have. And if you're going to do that, just make a separate film. Just make a movie that has that concept that isn't Venom. But Sony's not going to do that because they're fucking lazy and they're a bunch of phonies, and they would rather just make a Venom movie without Spider-Man because Venom is a well-known name. So they're just assuming that because Venom is a character that people are familiar with, that this movie's going to be a hit. That they're going to have another cinematic universe that they can print cash with. And I just don't think it's going to be the case. This is going to underperform in the box office. If it's a hit, I will be shocked. If it's good, I will also be shocked. My jaw will probably drop as wide as Venom's does when he decides to bite somebody's face off. Because I really don't have any hopes for this at all. Initially, I was kind of like, okay, maybe this might work because the Lethal Protector comics are pretty good. But it's just, I just don't think it's going to work anymore. After seeing these trailers, it just does not seem like this is a film that is going to work. It's not going to click. It's not going to tick all the right boxes. And also, Tom Hardy is horribly miscast as Eddie Brock. He does not have the charisma. He doesn't have the intimidation factor that Eddie needs. He's more intimidating of a physical presence than Topher Grace was, but he's still lacks that gravitas that Eddie Brock has in the comics and in other interpretations. So it's one of those things where he's physically looks the part, but from a character performance standpoint, it's just as a completely different character. And it just seems like Tom Hardy's bored out of his goddamn mind, the way he's saying these lines of dialogue and the way he's carrying himself in the trailer. And I've just not been impressed by Tom Hardy. A lot of the things I've seen with him, he just wasn't that impressive. The most impressive performance I could think of off the top of my head that I remember seeing Tom in was Warrior. But other than that, I haven't been that impressed with him. I thought he sucked as Bane in The Dark Knight Rises. I thought he also sucked as Mad Max in Mad Max Fury Road. And he looks like he's going to suck here in Venom. One thing that doesn't suck is the effects. I'll give it credit. Venom looks like Venom, missing the spider emblem on his chest, but it looks like Venom. I'll give the CGI credit. It looks pretty good. But the story looks like some shit that I would have seen in the 2005 film, and it just seems like a script that was left in a file cabinet collecting dust for years, and then some exec at Sony uncovered it and just shoehorned Venom in there. That's really what it looks like. It's just, and then the turret in the wind line. Why? What? Who? Like, if a turret is blown in the wind, I mean, that turd's been there for a long time. Or, I mean, there's something wrong with the person who laid that turd, so to speak. Like if you are shitting out turds that are so light that they're blowing in the wind, you need to go see a doctor. You need to get that shit checked out. But anyway, I mean, just the line of dialogue, it's just like, it's just stupid, and it's the opposite of intimidating. Venom is supposed to be scary and intimidating, and that just makes Venom a fucking joke. So, I mean, and the director of Zombieland, is that really the right guy for this type of movie? Ruben Fleischer. And then also, what is the tone? And what is this movie going to be? Is it going to be PG-13? Is it going to be rated R? I have no idea. It just seems like a film that seems rushed, not that well thought out, and just a total cash grab, really. But I don't know. I'll give it a watch someday, but I just don't have any hope for it. I really don't. I also saw a trailer for Suspiria. Wanted to talk about that. This is a film that I've changed my mind on. Initially, I was like, why are we doing this? Why are they trying to remake Argento? You can't remake Argento. Argento is so unique and different and original. You cannot remake him. But then when I watched this trailer, I realized that this director is not trying to copy Argento. He's not copying his style. He's not doing anything other than taking elements of the story of Suspiria, and he's turning it into his own film. And that's what I want out of a remake. And after watching this second trailer, I'm like, you know what? This looks pretty interesting. I'm not going to say it looks great or something I'm going to see in the theater, but it's got a nice visual style to it. It's got some creepy, eerie imagery in it. Especially there's a scene where there's this woman whose face is up against a mirror and it gets all distorted. I thought that was really well shot and well done. I like the use of red throughout the trailer. The score seems like it's not going to be quite the level of Goblin, but it seems like it might be pretty solid in its own right. Good cast, good solid cast. Definitely looks like it's trippy and weird, just like Suspiria. And Suspiria, to be honest, the plot isn't really the strongest part of the film to begin with, so that could be improved upon. I'm worried that it's going to be some boring art house film, though, that's going to be aesthetics over anything else, and that's what I'm worried about. That's why I'm probably not going to see it in the theater. But I will give it a fair shake. I'll give it a shot someday because I'm curious about it. This trailer made me curious about it. I will say this, though. I don't like the idea of having Tilda Swinton play a older man. She's playing one of the mothers in the film, but she's also playing an older man, like this older man character. And the makeup is okay, but you can tell it's somebody in old age makeup. It's just distracting. It kind of takes me out of the movie, and it just seems like why do that? Was that really a necessary thing to do from a filmmaking standpoint? I don't think it was. I really don't. So that's my thoughts on Suspiria. The only other trailers I would actually like to talk about, I've seen a few others, but like these are the main ones I want to give my thoughts on, so I'm not here for forever and a day. The Predator. Whoever is running the advertising, whoever's behind editing these trailers should be fired. They should be fired straight into the fucking moon, okay? And never get hired again to do anything involving with advertising for a film, because they are fucking terrible. They have failed at their jobs in the most epic way imaginable. Each and every trailer or TV spot that I've seen for The Predator has been worse than the last. It's been absolutely shocking. I can't believe it myself. I'm like, how is this happening? How is each subsequent trailer worse than the last? Trailers are supposed to sell you on the film. All these trailers have made me want to avoid this film like the plague. It makes the film look fucking pathetic, folks. every time I watch these trailers, I shake my head even more. I mean, just talking about them makes me want to shake my head. It's just one of those things that, what has the Predator franchise turned into? Predator dogs? Literal Predator dogs. They look like fucking pit bulls or shit like that with fucking Predator heads. I'm not fucking around. That's actually in the trailers. You have these really cringe, horrible attempts at comedy. Her vagina's rated for E for everyone. Talking about how the Predator, how the name doesn't make much sense because maybe it should be called a hunter because they hunt for sport. And then one of the characters, I think it's played by Sterling K. Brown, goes in like, no, it's Predator because Predator sounds cooler. Fuck yeah. Like, are you kidding me? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to be like Team America? Fuck no. Fuck this shit. Then you have this cast of badasses who are a bunch of weak asses, of lame asses, bunch of fucking slack-jawed pussies. It's just, you go from these larger than life characters in Predator and believably badass guys like Danny Glover and Bill Paxton, and even badass women like Maria Conchita Alonso. And you go from those to this fucking shit. Boyd Holbrook, who was one of the weakest parts of Logan as your lead. I mean, he's about as effective of a fucking badass and believable as a badass as a wet piece of fucking tissue paper. This guy ain't fucking shit. Then you got Sterling K. Brown, who sounds like he's high as balls or is bored and tired and about ready to fall the fuck asleep every time he says a line of dialogue. Keegan-Michael Key, who doesn't even belong here. He's so out of place. It's like I guess he thought he walked back onto the set for Key and Peele reunion or some shit, but it's a Predator movie. You have Thomas Jane, who's the most believable one out of the bunch, but he's tasked with acting like a fucking weird dumbass who's fucking making jokes and shit that don't really fit his personality, and he's more than likely gonna die either before the climax or during it. Then you have these other people who the fuck are you? Olivia Munn? I mean, what has she done lately except suck Aaron Rodgers' dick? Then you have the Predator itself, which it's not, you have the regular Predator, but then you have like a 10-foot tall, 12-foot tall super giant Predator. I mean, what is this Predator gonna do? Is it gonna take a fucking growth serum in another sequel and it's gonna fight Godzilla and King Kong at the same time? Is Mothra gonna show up and the Predator's gonna shoot it with its fucking cannon? What? This is fucking stupid. Why do we have fucking giant Predators? That's dumb. Fred, I had faith in you. Fred, I thought you would do better. This shit is fucking whack. This shit is fucking shit. This is awful. This is embarrassing. I mean, fuck. And then I look at the reviews for this movie, and a lot of people are saying that it's a joke. That they make there's more jokes in it than anything else. And a lot of the jokes fall flat, and the gore is CGI, and it looks like it in the trailer. And it's just like, man, has this franchise been ass-fucked enough? Does it need another fucking 10-inch or 10 feet long fucking dildo with razor-tip barbed wire on the end of it shoved up its scaly ass? Do we really need more dicking around? Apparently so. I just, this franchise to me, I mean, with everything I've seen in these trailers, there's a Grindhouse trailer that made it sound like it's a fucking parody. There was one recently that was like, it sounded like a nature documentary. And there's just like, there's fucking owls and the moon and shit. I was like, are you gotta be fucking kidding? I mean, I feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, John Matrix in Commando, and I just want to be like, bullshit, and just uppercut the fuck out of this movie. And and Shane Black and Fred Decker. I was rooting for Fred, man, because I really felt that he deserved another chance. But if not with shit like this, maybe it's just the type of film that Fred is inclined to write, which is more of a horror comedy sort of thing. Maybe that's just the type of writing that doesn't work with the Predator. Maybe that's the type of thing that doesn't work with this franchise. Maybe you can do it with a different type of movie, but maybe it just doesn't work here. I don't know. I haven't seen the film yet. I'll give it a watch sometime, but man, this has just been awful. Just been all kinds of pathetic. The trailers and the TV spots that I've seen for the Predator. And the next trailer I want to talk about is Halloween 2018. Trigger warning here, okay? I'm going to be saying a lot of shit here that's probably going to be triggering a bunch of Halloween fans all across the internet. I don't give a fuck. I want to get some shit off my chest, and this is a perfect platform to do it. Every trailer I've seen for this movie has left me less and less interested in this film. I will give the trailers this. Aesthetically, they look impressive. Looks like it has some really nice lighting and direction, and all the other production elements look good. Looks like it has a good budget to it. Alright, cool. Alright. Story-wise, though, looks like it's going to deliver pretty much nothing new. Except just the same shit that I've already seen before in other Halloween films, other films in the franchise, but with a new coat of paint. It's H4O. It's the same fucking plot as H2O. The only differences are, oh, the sibling plot. Let's remove that. And Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Laurie, is a badass instead of having an arc. Instead of being a character that, oh, she was scared, understandably so, because of the events that had happened in Halloween and Halloween 2. 20 years later, or events that happened in Halloween, 20 years later, she's still scared as when Michael Myers comes back. But then she gets over her fear in a badass way and decapitates his ass. In this, I guess she's Sarah Connor 2.0? Wow, how original. Nick Castle's playing the Shape again. I personally prefer Dick Warlock, but still, I mean, Michael Myers is not a character that relies upon the character actor who's playing the character. It's not the same as Robert Englund playing Freddy Krueger. You just put on a mask and a jumpsuit and you move weirdly. You move slowly, you have a certain intensity with your movements. That's it. That's all it takes to be Michael Myers. Put on the fucking mask and a jumpsuit, like, and move intensely and slowly and try not to look like a fucking goofball. Try not to look like a fucking goober. That's it. That's all it takes. I'm not excited about 70, 80-year-old Nick Castle playing the role again. I'm sorry. John Carpenter's involved with the film doing the score. Cool, I can listen to the score separate from the movie. Oh, he's involved with the production. Probably very limited. Oh, he says it's great. He said that before about other shit. He's tasked with selling the film. What do you think he's going to do? Is he going to say the movie sucks to the media? Nope. He's getting paid. And the plot, I mean, yeah, it's just the same shit as Halloween H2O. Just 20 years, 40 years later instead of 20 years later. Michael Myers escapes from the institution again, like I've seen before in other films of the franchise, including Halloween 4 and H2O. Oh, in Halloween 4, he returned to Haddonfield like he's going to do here in Halloween. It's another thing. Oh, you can't come up with a subtitle? You gotta call it Halloween again? then it just seems like a movie that's going to have way too many half-ass fucking homages. And if we're watching the second trailer, it definitely does seem like that's the case. There's an entire sequence in this trailer that is essentially a Xerox copy of a scene in Halloween 2. The only difference is a different person gets killed. That's the only difference. Other than that, it's shot for shot. That's not a homage anymore. That's a fucking ripoff. That's a lazy fucking regurgitation of shit I've already seen before. And why should I be excited for that? It's like, it's only a couple steps away from Gus Van Sant's Psycho. That shot. It's shot for shot, except for one little difference. It's like the thing that Rob Zombie did with the remake. Oh, I'm going to kill the people in different order. Oh, I'm going to kill this. I'm going to do things backwards. That's the only thing that he did different. Other than that, it's the same fucking movie in the last half when it comes to how things happen with the other characters and how they get killed. It's the same fucking shit. It's just done backwards. Here, but I'll give Rob Zombie credit. I can't believe I'm giving Rob Zombie credit here. At least he's doing shit backwards. This is just the same shit with one or two scenes changed. And then you're ignoring all the other sequels, but you're homaging them? Like, what is this shit? And I'm sorry, I'm not creaming my face. I'm not putting on my jumpsuit and my Michael Myers mask and creaming myself over these trailers. I don't understand the hype. I don't get it. It's the 11th film in the Halloween franchise. There's nothing new they can do with this. It's going to be the same shit, but on a different day. Oh, no, actually, probably more likely the same fucking day, but takes place 40 years later, and it's just going to be the same shit you've seen before, but with a new coat of paint. Danny McBride is one of the writers, and David Gordon Green. I've been enjoying Eastbound and Down recently. I've been watching the show, and I could see why people like the show a lot. Kenny fucking Powers is pretty fucking awesome. But even I have to admit, I mean, that type of writing, I don't see how that's going to work for a horror film. It just seems like a film that, if you're throwing in homage after homage after homage, how much of a movie do you really have? Seems like it's confirming my suspicions that they don't really have much to do. They don't really have much new to add to the franchise. So they have to give you the same shit. If you're looking forward to it, fine. I have no issue with that. I don't understand the hype. I don't understand the praise. I don't understand why people are going to be lining up out the door to see this. But, hey, to each their own. I hope it proves me wrong. I hope it's a surprise. I hope it is the best Halloween film in years. I hope it is. I do. I highly doubt it will be, but I hope it is. But at the same time, I almost kind of hope it isn't. Even if it turns out to be a good movie. Because I don't want to see these horror icons put out on the movie screen over and over and over again. I really don't want to see that. You're just going to keep getting diminished returns. And if it's a success, you're just going to see more. Hollywood's going to look at it and be like, oh, people want more Halloween, so I guess people want more Freddy Krueger. They want more Candyman. They want more Jason Voorhees. And I'm just like, can we have new horror icons? Let these horror icons die and rest in peace. Don't keep digging them up every 5 years and propping them back up on the big screen. Just fucking come up with your own original franchise. You know, I'm not super big on Insidious or some of James Wan's Conjuring spin-offs, but hey, at least it's something different. I mean, well, not necessarily different, but at least it's something that isn't the same. It's not the same horror franchise that I've seen. It's not the same horror icons. They're trying to create their own. At least they're giving it an effort. But that's just how I feel about it. I mean, this is going to be a hit, I guarantee it. And then you're going to have shit like Candyman, which is already being talked about. We don't need any more Candyman films. One was enough anyway, because each sequel sucked worse than the last. And Jordan Peele might be involved. So, I'd want to see any more Candyman films. I don't. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on the second Halloween trailer. Color me unimpressed. I'm not. I was just like, wow, aesthetically looks pretty good. Story-wise, I have serious doubts. Character-wise, other than Jamie Lee Curtis, who is there to care about? Who should I give a shit about? Who is going to make this a suspenseful film? And that's another thing I've noticed with a lot of films, like especially horror films. It's like characters and story aren't as important anymore. It's aesthetics and trying to shock the audience. I'm sorry. A film, to me, a horror film especially, needs likable, relatable, engaging characters. Otherwise, there's zero suspense. Why should I give a shit what happens as a character in the end of a movie if I don't like the character? They could get butt fucked by demons and then have their head ripped off, and they could bowl with the motherfucker. And I could care less. That's what makes it boring. That's what makes it not exciting. That's what makes these horror films like Hereditary and The Witch snooze-inducing. Because why should I give a fuck about any of the characters in those films? I don't give a fuck about your subtext. Or you can have some really fantastic, amazing shots like Hereditary has, but if you don't have a story and characters that I can latch onto and make this journey worthwhile, other than just a little bit on an aesthetic plane or level, then you fucking failed, if you ask me. It's not a good movie. Oh, Upgrade was good because it subverted my expectations. Upgrade was a good movie because the ending was a surprise. It shocked me. Yeah, if STEM decided to convince... I'm trying... What the fuck is his name again? If STEM decided to convince the lead character, Gray, I believe that's his name. If it decided to convince the lead character, Gray, to shove his own head up his ass, I would think that would also be pretty shocking, wouldn't it? That's unexpected. Oh, STEM made him shove his own head up his ass. That's unexpected. Doesn't mean it's good. I mean, lowered expectations. I mean, for fuck's sake. I mean, oh, it shocked me. Therefore, it's good. It's a good movie because it shocked me. Wow, good for you. I'm going to give you a nice little golf clap. Nice job. Wonderful. Fuck's sake. Forgive me for having a little bit higher standards here for storytelling and for characters and for a film as a whole. I mean, no wonder films are getting worse nowadays because of this shit. Lowered expectations. It shocked me a few times. There were some nice bits of gore. It looked pretty. Wow. Is it such a crime for me to want more than that? But anyway, that's my thoughts on that little bit. Now I'm going to talk about my quick thoughts and some bits of movie news. The Rock is going to be doing another Big Trouble in Little China. Now, initially it was going to be a remake, but now it's announced it's going to be a sequel. Either way, I'm like, why don't you just do Old Man Jack? Why don't we just have Old Man Jack, a live-action version of the Boom comics with Kurt Russell? Why does The Rock have to be in fucking everything? I mean, The Rock's in so many movies and so many things now. I mean, I half expect to wake up in the morning and find The Rock laying next to me in bed, offering me a fucking cheeseburger or some shit like the Burger King guy. I mean... Everywhere I go, I turn around, The Rock's there, and he's asking me if I can smell what he's cooking. And what you're cooking lately is bullshit. The only project I'm looking forward to from The Rock is Hobbs and Shaw, the Fast and Furious spinoff. Other than that, I could care fucking less about Jungle Cruise, Skyscraper, or what I like to call it, ass scraper. I mean, I could honestly care less about these Rock films. I'm getting sick of The Rock. He's a crock. He's a crock of fucking shit. Stop. Go back to making movies like The Rundown or Walking Tall, or take a fucking break. Stay out of the spotlight. Stop making like what seems like 50 fucking movies every year. And if Jack Burton was to show up in any capacity in this movie, it'll probably be some half-ass fucking homage. It'll be like Jack Burton was here, written on a bathroom wall or some shit, or he'll take his truck, or Jack Burton, or just my luck, Jack Burton will show up in the movie, played by Kurt Russell, and he'll fucking die like a bitch, like Tron did in Tron Legacy, and get killed in like 15 seconds by the son of Lopan. Is this movie more than likely going to suck? Indeed! Anyway. Just no more. Don't do Big Trouble in Little China without Kurt Russell. Just don't do it. Then there's gonna be another Die Hard film. To be honest, I'm done. To me, this is the franchise that should just die hard. Die Hard 6. Just die already. But no, it's gonna be called McClane. I guess it's gonna try to be like Creed or Rambo. No, it's gonna be that stupid Die Hard Year One plot, which was dumb and nobody I know was asking for. I can't think of a single soul that wants to see a prequel sequel with a young John McClane and an old John McClane. I can't think of a single person. I know I don't want to see it. I know my friends don't want to see it. I mean, it's it's gonna have Bruce Willis. Oh, it's gonna have Bruce. Will he give a shit, Willis? Because that's really what you get with Bruce Willis nowadays. I mean, Bruce Willis roasted himself at the Bruce Willis roast. The roast of Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis roasted himself harder than anyone else on the dais. He showed up at the end and he read awkwardly off the teleprompter and apologized for roasting people on the dais, and then later was like, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. It's a fucking Bruce Willis movie. And it's just like, Bruce, come on, man. It's just, I just feel, just one of those things where I loved Bruce Willis. I loved a lot of his, I still love a lot of his earlier films. But lately just doesn't give a shit and it shows. So why should I give a shit about McClane? And I've seen people make a really good point. Die Hard is not a superhero franchise. There's no need for an origin story. What are we going to have? A young John McClane? He's going to get involved in another terrorist situation in another skyscraper? Then you're going to ruin the first movie because, oh, the first film seemed like it was just spontaneous and was taken on his feet, using his experience as a cop. Nope. He did it before. How much you want to bet that's what it's going to be? Then you're going to have some dumb shit where they're going to probably explain why he uses the term yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Yeah, I don't need to know the origin story of John McClane saying yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. You can fuck off with that shit. So, yeah, McClane, like, we don't need this. Good Day to Die Hard was bad. I don't need a sixth movie that's a prequel and a sequel at the same time. Just die. I feel like Tommy Lee Jones in Batman Forever. Why won't you just die? Speaking of stuff that should die or is going to die, how about the DC Cinematic Universe? It seems like Warner Brothers is about a couple steps away from saying fuck this shit and rebooting it. I mean, the signs are there. Ben Affleck no longer in as Batman. Henry Cavill more than likely not in as Superman. Warner Brothers isn't planning on making any more Superman movies. They'd rather make a Supergirl film instead of another Superman film. They've already said they don't plan to make it a Superman film for at least a couple years, if not more. Henry Cavill did some weird Instagram video trying to, I guess, say something. I don't know what it was. People were interpreting it as him saying that the rumors aren't true and that he's still going to be Superman, but he didn't. He's not doing the Shazam cameo. He's going to be doing the Witcher show for Netflix. I don't think he's going to be coming back to the role, folks. If he was, I think he'd take the money, because I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers will be paying him more for another Superman film than Netflix is going to be paying him for the Witcher series. Seems like it's the end. The end is near. The end is nigh for the DC Cinematic Universe. But what's crazy is if they're planning on rebooting it, why are you keeping Gal Gadot? Why are you keeping Jason Momoa? Why are you doing all this shit? Why don't you just reset everything? Reboot the entire franchise, not just select fucking people because you don't want to pay them their paycheck. Because that's what it seems like. I read into it. It seems like there was some talks that broke down between Henry Cavill and DC and Warner Brothers. Maybe Henry Cavill wanted more money. They want to give it to him. So he said, fuck this shit. I'm out. I don't blame him. And my thoughts on Superman, Henry Cavill's Superman, is this. I never thought he was that great. I thought at best he was okay. Physically, he had the build. He really did. If you took a picture, you know, just looking at him, looking at a picture of Henry Cavill dressed as Superman, looked the part. But he lacked the charisma. He lacked the charisma that Superman needs. I never bought anything when it came to his charisma. I mean, Charlie Sheen did a better job charisma-wise in the Hot Shots parody, for fuck's sake, of Superman. Dean Cain was better to me because he had the charisma. Christopher Reeve not only embodied everything that you could ever ask for out of the Man of Steel, but he also had the charisma to pull off that Boy Scout thing. It was sincere. Nothing about Cavill's performance when he tried to do that was sincere. It came across as insincere and laughable in Justice League. And then other times he's just trying to be a dour sourpuss. He's sad sack man. And there were moments where there's a little bit of hope in Man of Steel, but then that's all gone in Batman vs. Superman. So I'm not mourning. I'm not like, oh no, Henry Cavill's gone. I wasn't that big of a fan of him as Superman anyway. I hope they find somebody better who actually has the charisma, the gravitas that Superman needs. That I haven't seen an actor have fully since Christopher Reeve. But anyway, that's my thoughts on those three bits of movie news. There's probably some other bits that I could talk about, but those are the main ones I wanted to talk about. And this is going to be a little bit longer than I thought. I guess it'll be a little bit over 40 minutes, but I'm just going to go through some upcoming Blu-rays, and then that will be it. Kino Lorber, they're coming out in October. They're coming out with Blu-rays of The Night Stalker and The Night Strangler, the Kolchak TV movies with Darren McGavin. I'm really looking forward to those. I'm a big fan of those films as well as the TV series. So it's going to come out with a special edition. It's going to have a brand new HD restoration. It's going to be remastered in 4K. I don't know if I'm going to buy that, though. Well, no, it's Kino Lorber. But I think Kino's the ones who were releasing Deep Rising 2, if I remember correctly. And they said it was going to be 4K, but it wasn't. That's kind of disappointing. I think that's Kino. I think it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Kino did do Deep Rising. So, but I'm pretty sure it'll be a good transfer. It'll be better than the DVD. There's going to be an audio commentary with the film historian, new interview with the director, new interview with the composer, a featurette about Dan Curtis that was on the DVD, and that'll be it for the features. Then The Night Strangler is going to have a commentary with the film historian, an interview with the composer, and the featurette from back in the day. So the features, there's not a whole lot, but then again, there's not a lot that they could get, considering all the members who have passed away, who are not available to be interviewed or refuse to be interviewed, the people who are involved with the show and with the TV movies. There's also going to be Trilogy of Terror. They're doing a remaster of that. So finally, Dark Skies' long out of print release is not going to be as overpriced as it was by as it has been lately by sellers online. Scream Factory is going to be releasing not really a collector's edition, but a normal regular edition of The Mangler, which I'm really looking forward to because I really enjoy that movie. I relate to Ted Levine's character. I feel like Ted Levine's character when it comes to the film industry and a lot of their just choices they've been making lately. I'm just like, bullshit, reality. Bullshit, reality. This is bullshit. So I'm looking forward to that release. There probably won't be that many features, but I hope they get the uncut version at least. And there's a better transfer than what's out there on the DVD. The last thing I want to talk about is Vestron's upcoming release of Maximum Overdrive. I can't wait for this release. I am a big fan of Maximum Overdrive. I think this film has gotten the raw raw end of the dick from a lot of people. I don't understand why. The critics who say it's bad because it doesn't take itself seriously enough. Give me a fucking break. I mean, the movie is clearly not meant to be taken seriously. From the opening credits, when Stephen King's going to an ATM and it's telling him to fuck off and calling him an asshole. Okay? This movie's not meant to be taken seriously. For the people who think Maximum Overdrive is such a giant piece of shit, I highly recommend you seek out a film called Trucks, which is also based on the same short story. Watch that, then tell me that Maximum Overdrive is completely without merit and is a total piece of shit in comparison to Trucks. Trucks is so fucking boring and so bad that you would wish for a truck to run right over your fucking nutsack in order to keep your ass awake. Or if you're a lady, right over your pussy so keep you awake too. Pop you right up. Because other than that, because it's going to be really hard for you to stay asleep. I mean, so for you to stay awake. Just talking about it, I guess, is fucking up my brain cells. There's like a little mini truck in my head just driving over my brain cells and popping them right and left. Talking about trucks. You turn, you die. You watch this movie, you die. Maximum Overdrive is way better. Maximum Overdrive is actually entertaining. Maximum Overdrive is fast-paced. Maximum Overdrive has some really great stunt work. It's got a fucking soundtrack by AC fucking DC. And it's not the same shit you hear in all these other fucking movies. Okay, it's not just Shoot the Thrill and Thunderstruck. You hear a song that was actually made for the soundtrack. Who made who? You hear For Those About to Rock, We Salute You. And AC/DC even does the score. So that's got to count for something. Emilio Estevez is in it, and he blows up a Happy Toys truck with the Green Goblin head on it that was actually officially licensed by Marvel Comics. It says, "Adios, motherfucker." This movie's awesome. I'm sorry. I don't think it's so bad it's good, or it's one of those films like, yeah, it's not a good movie. Come on. It's a piece of shit. It's entertaining, but it's bad. No. Maximum Overdrive is legitimately good for what it's trying to be. A coked up, crazy fucking movie. Okay? With AC/DC blaring on the soundtrack. So I'm really looking forward to this release. I am a little leery of some things when it comes to the features. The transfer, yeah, it's disappointing. It's not a 4K remaster. But maybe they were having a hard time finding a print. I did read, though, that Vestron is going to be fixing the color timing. There were some color timing problems with the previous releases that have been released overseas on Blu-ray or the bootleg releases. So they're not going to just sit on their hands and just put out the same thing. No, they could not get Stephen King, but Stephen King refused. They tried to get Stephen King to do interviews or commentary track. He said no. What more else can Vestron do? They tried. The uncut footage, it's not out there. I do think that there were scenes that were cut out of the film, but just like all these other horror films from the same time, they ended up on the cutting room floor and they're gone forever. The rumor, the thing that was floating around that Stephen King had a copy of the uncut version of the film is just a rumor. It started in some magazine article. Vestron tried to find it. They couldn't. They dug deep, couldn't find anything. They even asked Stephen King, and he said he doesn't have it. So there is no uncut footage. Maybe it'll show up someday, but I highly doubt it. I don't understand the people getting pissed off at the release because it doesn't have the uncut footage. It's not there. They couldn't find it. Give them a break. Now, I do understand why fans would be leery of the release, though, because of stuff like an audio commentary track with comedian Jonah Ray, who is the new guy who's stuck in the Satellite of Love in the Mystery Science Theater 3000 reboot. The new season of MST3K. So, he is doing a commentary for this with a Blumhouse film executive. Not a good sign. But there is going to be a commentary with Tony Magistrale, who's an author of Hollywood Stephen King. So, maybe there'll be, a couple commentaries, the best of both worlds. A serious one and a non-serious one. But the thing is, though, why is there a riff? I haven't heard of that many other Blu-rays for films like this that have riffs. That have riff tracks. There's going to be a new featurette interview with Marfa D. Laurentis. There's going to be called Truck Stop Tales. There's going to be Rage Against the Machines. There's a featurette with an interview with actress Laura Harrington. A Honeymoon Horrors, which is going to have an interview with actor John Short and actress Yeardley Smith, which I'm looking forward to. Curtis, are you dead? New Maximum Carnage featurette, an interview with makeup effects creator Dean Gates. Really looking forward to that one. That should be really interesting. An interview with actor Holter Graham called A Kid in King's Court. New The Wilmington Factor featurette, a look back at the filming of Maximum Overdrive with members of the production crew in North Carolina. Who Made Who? Interview with Murray Englehart, a co-author of AC/DC Maximum Rock and Roll. And Goblin Resurrectus featurette, which talks about the restoration of the Happy Toys Goblin truck, behind-the-scenes footage, still gallery, theatrical trailer, TV spots. So it has more features than I thought that it ever would get. So for me, a guy who doesn't have the bootleg, this is something I'm definitely going to give a ride. I'm definitely going to be totally interested and curious about giving this Blu-ray a ride in my Blu-ray player, and also taking a test drive for those of my friends who are leery about it. But, yeah, other than Maximum Overdrive, the only release I can think of is Warner Brothers' upcoming release of Batman the Animated Series. Remastered in HD. I cannot wait for this release. It was delayed from the October 16th release to October 30th because they actually are going to include the digital copies. I don't really care about that, but regardless, I'm so pumped for this. I love this show. The first two seasons are easily my favorite animated series of all time, so I can't wait to see this remastered and in HD and it's just my most anticipated release of the year. I pre-ordered it already, and I will definitely do an unboxing when I get it, and I will definitely review the series sometime. I am saying that right here and now on camera. It will happen because I'm such a big fan of the show, and I'm really looking forward to watching the Blu-ray and then talking about the series. I was going to review it earlier, but my bootleg DVD set, not really the best source to use, and then I heard about the Blu-ray set, and I was like, you know what, I'll just wait. I'll wait till the Blu-ray set comes out, then I'll watch the episodes again, then I'll review the series. But anyway, yeah, that's all I really have to say about any upcoming Blu-rays that I wanted to talk about. Anyway, thank you for watching. As you can see, I'm back. I just need to take a little bit of a break. But it's been nice little mental break here. So after take a little bit more time, then I'll get back to reviewing some more movies and stuff like that, some random stuff here and there. But I hope you've enjoyed the content that I've been providing so far. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. See ya.